Total News, 7 days a week on CKVR-TV.
The following program is a repeat of last night's Total News program.
Good evening, I'm Mike Jaworski, filling in for Sharon Burkhart, who was on assignment this week. The Ontario Liberals are getting along quite well with the people of this province. The latest poll shows if an election were held today, they would sweep to power with a majority. More on that story from Robert Fisher.
The province-wide poll sampled the opinions of just over 1,000 eligible Ontario voters between the 2nd and 12th of this month. 47% of those surveyed say they support the Liberals, up from the 33% sampled in a poll by the same company before the May 2nd election. The Conservatives at 29% are down substantially from the April poll, while the NDP at 23% is about where it was prior to the election. But significantly for the NDP, the poll seems to indicate the party has not suffered as a result of its support of the Liberals. The poll results prompted a statesman-like response from Premier Peterson and an acknowledgement that things can change. Peterson told reporters he's not even tempted to call an election as a result of the favorable showing.
I don't want an election tomorrow, but on the other hand, we don't fear one.
Well, would you prefer an election 4 years from now rather than 2 years?
Look, I've got a 2-year no-cut contract. You don't.
The poll results caught up with the Conservative leader as he continued his province-wide tour, trying to rebuild his party following the election and rebuild his own leadership. Frank Miller says he tends to believe polls and takes some comfort in the fact that this current one shows him doing a little better than even a Tory poll taken after May 2nd. Miller says it's hard to predict the impact of the poll on the NDP Liberal Accord and the guarantee that no election will be held for 2 years.
You know, as I know, that there's nothing to make a leader itchy like a good poll.
I guess you perhaps more than a lot of people.
I understand that better than many.
The NDP say the results come as no surprise, that they expected the Liberals to do well.
This is still its honeymoon period, and I think that's to be expected. What is surprising is the degree to which the Tories are still obviously in a state of free fall. Our job is to get on with providing government for at least 2 years and perhaps even longer.
Robert Fisher, CBC News, Queen's Park. Some concerns have been raised about the safety of swimming at Wasaga Beach. That after a second drowning in 3 days. That story from Kevin Frankish.
Wasaga Beach, Tower 11, 1040 information.
1040, a missing child. One of more than 4,000 occurrences handled by the Ministry of Natural Resources lifeguards at the beach every season.
Additional information, he was wearing a blue baseball cap.
But already twice this week, the call has been a 1085. That's a water rescue. Ministry of Natural Resources lifeguards responded immediately, but unfortunately, both occurrences ended in tragedy. Around 1 o'clock Monday afternoon, 10-year-old Christopher Young drowned while playing in an inflatable dinghy. His body was not to be found until the next afternoon. Then yesterday, 19-year-old Nick Argiro from North York was swimming in an unpatrolled area. He went under and drowned. But still, the Ontario Provincial Police feel that Wasaga Beach is a safe place, and they even commend the Ministry of Natural Resources lifeguards for being an efficient unit. There are 14 lifeguard towers along the beach, as well as patrol boats in the water. The problem comes when they have to watch sometimes more than 100,000 people. Is it a safe beach?
Yes, we believe it is. Shallow waters, warm waters, the patrol operation along that 7 miles of beach that we do patrol. There's still obviously a danger in any type of water. We would encourage people to use a buddy system and for parents to know where their children are on the beachfront.
In Wasaga Beach, Kevin Frankish, Total News.
An Elmvale couple feel they're being run out of town because they don't make enough money. Peter and Patricia Austin want to move in a new house but can't because of a resolution passed by the Village Council.
Patricia and Peter Austin and their 5-year-old daughter Christina live in a tiny 1-bedroom apartment in Elmvale. They're expecting another baby in November and wanted to buy a home. But with the $18,000 a year Peter makes as a construction worker, that was impossible. But it is possible under a Canada Mortgage and Housing Scheme, which pays 75% of the mortgage. The Austins were accepted for the plan a month ago. But earlier this year, Council passed a resolution stopping any more subsidized housing in the village. And the Austins are out of luck.
It really makes me angry, it really does, because we were so so happy when we heard that we were selected for a home, and they were looking for one for us, and we just couldn't wait to get into one because we thought this was the only break for us.
When CMHC first introduced subsidized housing in Elmvale, it told council it would eventually mean 10 to 12 new homes. Now there are 17. The Austins were to be one of the last 2 families to be offered homes under the plan, but council said no more.
I think some of the residents of the village have become concerned that this will lower property values in the village, and council has reached the decision that that is enough. We've done our share.
The Village Reeve is quoted in a Toronto newspaper article as saying there's too many handouts, and the Austins feel they're being discriminated against because they're a low-income family.
We're not welfare cases. We're just like anybody else.
The Austins will stay in their cramped apartment until a few months after their baby is born. Then they'll be forced to move, likely to another town. In Elmvale, Suzanne Legui, Total News.
American beef is flooding the Canadian market, and that means our farmers are hurting. And on top of that, the consumers that are not getting the benefits of lower prices. With more on that story, here's Greg Lubianetsky.
It's been the worst summer in 10 years, according to some beef growers. Right now, local growers are losing up to $200 on every head they deliver to Toronto.
The solution. Everybody has their own solution. I suppose some of the problem would be we've got rid of, or we're cutting back on the cow herd a little bit. We're going to have to eat up some more of these cows. We're going to have to maybe get rid of a few of the feedlots around, a few of the farmers. We're going to have to cut back a little bit. We're going to have to realize that the problem is just not going to go away overnight.
American beef is now loading the market, and that's largely to blame. But consumers are not getting the 20% cut in prices that the farmers are having to eat up.
There are a lot of other items that are a better profit maker than beef.
So generally, you'll price beef at what the market can bear?
Within reason.
The trend could continue or even get worse until the end of this year. And if it lasts a lot longer than that, it could be disastrous for the beef industry. Near Barrie, Greg Lubianetsky, Total News.
And finally tonight on our consumer segment, there's some good news about your upcoming phone bill. Carla Gillies has more on that.
Bell Canada has been ordered to drop all its phone rates by 2% starting next month. That order comes from the CRTC at a time when Bell had been asking permission to increase its rates. They claim they'd face serious financial troubles without the hike, but the CRTC has disagreed, noting Bell made a profit of $630 million last year alone. However, Bell says it will ask again about an increase in February. Earlier this week, we talked about go-kart owners who are trying to pull together some common safety requirements across the country. Today, from the Consumer Minister in Ontario, news that he too is soon going to bring in some safety and licensing rules for both go-kart and amusement ride operators. So far, there have been no rules at all. Since 1962, there have been 10 amusement ride fatalities in this province and 6 very serious go-kart accidents, resulting in 3 deaths. A group of doctors is petitioning the federal government over safety, but they're campaigning on the health dangers of smoking, claiming it kills thousands of Canadians every year, and they are not very happy about the prospect of setting up a national tobacco marketing agency.
We would like to call upon the Minister of Agriculture, Mr. John Wise, to arrest the development of this Tobacco Marketing Board proposal. We feel that in the context of current scientific and medical knowledge, that this is just a totally inappropriate endeavor for the Government of Canada to be involved in. You have to have the intellectual capacity of an ice cube not to recognize the serious health consequences that are involved as a result of tobacco consumption today.
And here's something for electronic buffs. Canada's largest consumer electronics show, offered to the public, is going to start tomorrow, and it's going to run through until Saturday. You'll be able to take in the latest developments in compact discs, cassette decks, VCR, stereos, and much more. It's at the Metro Convention Center. Adults cost about $4 to get in. That's for Consumer News tonight. I'm Carla Gillies.
Weather is up next with Bob as the late report continues.
It's Levi's week at Spin-Off stores. All this week, their best-selling Levi's are on sale. Boys and girls Levi's sizes 7 to 14 denims are only $12.99 a pair. Levi's straight leg and bootcut denims for men and young men are a crazy $18.99 a pair. Use your Visa, MasterCard, or write a check when you buy your boys and girls Levi's for $12.99 and men's and young men's Levi's straight leg and bootcut for $18.99 a pair. It's Levi's week at Spin-Off stores from Monday, August the 12th until Saturday, August the 17th. Newmarket, Orillia and Owen Sound. What a great way to start your back-to-school shopping.
Spend the summer with CKVR. Join us Tuesday nights for action and comedy. First, it's TJ Hooker at 6.
Well, not this time. We handle it. Nobody else.
Then at 7, it's the facts of life.
Oh, is it my fault I have money? No, it's your father's fault.
Followed by more laughs on Too Close for Comfort at 7:30.
You've decided to live together.
We're doing it for you all summer long on CKVR. 24-hour television on CKVR. Vintage television for your late-night viewing pleasure. Fridays after midnight, start your weekend off right with great movies on 24-hour theater. Followed by The Prisoner. Then James Arnaz stars as Marshal Matt Dillon on Gunsmoke. And then a second great movie feature from the golden years of Hollywood. Stay up late with CKVR for classic summer television.
Kevin Marks and I would like to play some golf tomorrow morning, but it depends what Bob has to say about the weather.
Going to be a great day to start off with. If you go out really early, you'll probably find a fair amount of dew on the course, though. But as the day rolls along, of course, the dew will go away. Temperatures right now across our broadcasting area. Just take Lake Simcoe, across over to Collingwood, right in this whole area right here. 14s, 13s, and 15s. You go south of that, it's up into 18 by the time you get into Toronto, and it's around 16 and 17 when you go into Huntsville, Rosso, across over to Parry Sound. Low tonight on the Fahrenheit scale, on average, will be about 56. The high tomorrow, around 73. And the humidity right now is 94%, no change from 5:30. Summer day tomorrow, and that's kind of nice. We had kind of a rugged-looking day today, drizzle and rain and showers, and even some thunderstorms, although the grass did kind of need that water. Sunrise, 6:24 tomorrow morning, and the sun will set tomorrow evening at 6:21. Don't forget your headlights, and the barometer is going to be, for the most part, steady tomorrow at 101.9 kilopascals. That means it's going up just slightly. Lunar map looks like this. Cold front is already south of us. The clearing started in the North Country around 6:30. By the time it got down into Barrie and toward York region, it was around 8:30 this evening, and it continues to clear. What we have to watch out for is still Danny. Danny is no longer a hurricane, but it is still cooking up some very, very wet weather. In Louisiana tonight, before the night is out, they expect that some places will get up to 10 inches of rain. Windsor today had 2 inches of rain. What we have to watch is this warm front, this little system right here, this wave, along with Danny, could play havoc with the weekend. Right now, we think 3 straight days of sun, but probably on late Saturday or early Sunday, we may get into some wet weather. This is the ridge that's going to affect us tomorrow, and we'll have some sunshine tomorrow. Now, let's have a look at the satellite, and then we'll show you the forecast. Here's what it looked like today, and you can see that cold front coming all the way down across us and causing the wet weather that we had. And you can see Danny in just a second here. There's Danny, just in your bottom right-hand corner. It is no longer a hurricane. This was taken earlier today, and here's a quick look at the planet. And here's tonight's forecast. Clouds and stars and overnight lows of 12 through 14. Tomorrow, we're going to have some sun and some clouds, and 23 to 25 for the temperatures. Long range is looking like this, although this can change. Saturday mainly sunny, the same for Sunday and Monday, and temperatures 24 or the mid-70s on the Fahrenheit scale. Red Star events in Bracebridge tomorrow and again on Saturday. The Bracebridge Historical Society is sponsoring its 2nd annual show and sale of antiques. There are some 40 selected antique dealers. It's in the Bracebridge Memorial Arena. Costs $2 to get in. Open from 11 till 9 tomorrow and from 10 until 6 on Saturday. This Saturday in Thornton, they're having a corn fest, and as part of that, the new Thornton Library is asking people to help stock the library by bringing some books to them, free of course. And the more people who have a Thornton Library card, the more grants and donations the library will be able to get. This Saturday in Burnt River, the Burnt River United Church is holding their summer smorgasbord supper. Hot and cold dishes and lots of homemade salads and pies. Starts at 4 in the Burnt River Rec Center and continues until everybody's been served. Cost adults $6, and children from 6 to 12 years cost $2.50, and the preschoolers get some free eats. And coming up will be your marine weather forecast.
Marine Watch is brought to you by Robertson & Robertson, exclusive brokers for the Skipper's Power Plan.
New boat? Nice. But what if something happens to it? Accidents do happen. Marine insurance. But is it the Skipper's plan? What's the difference? Not too much, until you have to make a claim. That's when the Skipper's plan makes all the difference. They'll settle your claim fast, and they've got the expertise to have your boat salvaged, expedite repairs, do whatever it takes to get you back in your boat again. But you may never have to make a claim.
The marine weather forecasts. Here are the predicted water temperatures for tomorrow. The air temperature today was cooler than the water temperatures. Tomorrow, the air temperature will be just about even with the water temperatures, or just a little bit more. The marine synopsis: a northwest to southeast ridge will move over southern Georgian Bay by mid-afternoon tomorrow. The barometric pressure is predicted to be 30.09 inches, or 101.9 kilopascals. For Lake Simcoe, Couchiching, Georgian Bay, and the lakes in Muskoka, Parry Sound, and Haliburton, under fair skies, northwesterly winds 5 to 10 knots, and the same conditions apply to Lake Ontario. Remember, wind direction will vary with topography and daytime temperatures. So tomorrow we're going to get back to some nice temperatures and nice skies.
Marine Watch is brought to you by Robertson & Robertson, exclusive brokers for the Skipper's Plan.
It seems that the water temperatures have stayed pretty cool this year.
That's about where they should be. We've had a couple of temperatures, particularly in Lake Couchiching, where we got up to around 78 degrees, and that's being about as warm as it'll get.
All right. Thanks, Bob. I'm starting to feel sorry for the Cubbies.
Yeah, they lost 3 out of 4 now from the Expos. Expos beat them, but can't catch the Mets and the Cards. They both won again today.
Cubbies with lots of injuries lose today. We'll find about that in just a moment.
Spend the summer with CKVR. Wednesday night at 6, join the crew of the Starship Enterprise on Star Trek.
Get those men aboard fast. Right away, Captain.
Then it's Square Pegs at 7.
I'm trying to listen. Eavesdropping is almost as good as being talked to.
Followed by Three's a Crowd at 7:30. We're doing it for you all summer long on CKVR. 24-hour television on CKVR, the place to be for the best late-night television from the past. Saturday after midnight, start your late-night viewing with classic movies on 24-hour theater. Then Jerry Van Dyke stars in My Mother the Car, followed by courtroom drama on Perry Mason, and then a second classic movie feature on 24-hour theater. Stay up late with CKVR, your 24-hour station.
Earlier this week, we were talking about World Cup skiing in South America. Today, hockey. What's happening this summer?
I don't know. I don't even want to think about it. It seems like a silly time to be talking about hockey, but the sport is really just around the corner with some clubs practicing already. Tonight, the Barrie Colts, defending Central Ontario Junior B champions, announced that they have hired a brand new coach.
We're very pleased at this time to announce the appointment of Rick Bowman as the coach for the Barrie Colts for the upcoming season. Mike McCann, the coach last season, has decided to take a year's vacation or two due to some heavy commitments. Mike will remain in the club as the director of player personnel.
This time around, the Colts decided to go back to someone who rose from the Barrie Minor Hockey Association ranks. Their new coach is Rick Bowman, a 2.5-year veteran of the Colts from the 70s. He then moved on to a 1.5 years of play with the Major Junior A Niagara Falls Flyers, and from there to St. Lawrence University in the States on a 4-year scholarship. For Colts management, it was not a difficult choice.
No, it was a very easy choice, Kevin. We were very, very pleased to get Rick. We've watched Rick over the years, and Rick, I feel, will do an excellent job.
What happens to Mike McCann, your brother?
Mike is now going to be in charge of player personnel. Mike is out doing the digging in the trenches for players right now.
This is Rick's first coaching job of any kind, no minor hockey at all. But he thinks he's learned enough from the man who've coached him.
I'd much rather go into the Junior B ranks because I think the kids at that level are at the age where they really want to play hockey. They have a chance of going somewhere, whether it be college or Tier 2 Junior A or Major Junior A, and I feel that
at that age level, they're really primed and ready to play hockey, and that's the level I'd like to try.
Colts camp opens in a little over a week. 50 kids are expected in town, 3 of which played for last year's championship team. If that's all they get back, Mr. Bowman is going to have his hands full if the Colts hope to repeat as league champions.
Well, the Expos have been winning a lot lately, but unfortunately for them, so have the Cards and the Mets. Montreal took their 3rd in 4 games at Wrigley Field this week with a 7-3 win this afternoon. Terry Walker has the highlights.
The Cubs took the lead in the bottom of the 1st. After Ryan Sandberg singled and stole second, Keith Moreland hit a 2-out single to left field. Sandberg's slide beat the throw, and it was 1-0. But the Expos scored 3 times in the 2nd. With runners on the corners, Mitch Webster singled home Tim Wallach, and the game was tied. Then they loaded the bases, and Tim Raines clubbed a 2-out double to deep left center field. Van Slaw and Webster scored, and Montreal led it 3-1. In the top of the 3rd, Van Slaw took Chicago starter Steve Engel deep to left field for a 2-run homer, and the Expos had built a 5-1 lead. But in the Cubs' 5th, Ryan Sandberg single to center scored Gary Matthews from second base, and it was a 5-2 Expos lead.
He'll score easily.
Then in the 7th inning, Sandberg picked up another RBI, singling to center field, scoring Davy Lopes. Expos 5, Cubs 3 after 7 innings. But the Expos picked up their 6th run in the 8th inning, and in the 9th, Tim Raines got them going again with his 3rd double of the game. This one off relief pitcher George Frazier. Raines scored when Andre Dawson laid down a perfect bunt with 2 away, and they had their 7th run of the game. Randy St. Clair came on in the 9th to mop up and got Gary Matthews to fly out, ending the game. The Expos win it, beating the Cubs 7-3. Terry Walker, CBC News.
Okay, now the Expos trail the Mets and Cardinals by 5 games in the NL East tonight. Cards took 2 from Pittsburgh today, so they are tied with the Mets, who also won this afternoon 10-7 over the Phillies.
A hot day at Shea Stadium obviously affected this fan in the upper deck. What a first inning for the Mets. This is Tom Paciorek. Hits a fly ball deep to left off of Jerry Kuzman, and that's a home run for Paciorek. Still in the first inning, Gary Carter. He hits a fly ball to left center. Von Hayes goes back. He can't get it, another home run. Gary Carter seems to lead the majors in curtain calls this year. Still first inning. It's Ray Knight, opposite field, another home run. 3 in the first inning for the Mets. They led it 5-1. But it wasn't enough for Dwight Gooden today. Mike Schmidt for the Phillies in the 3rd, and he hits his 20th homer of the season. That cut the lead to 6-4 Mets. Then it was Rick Shue in the 4th inning. He hits it to left field. 5 runs off of Gooden. That's the most this year. Shue didn't know it was gone, so he kept on running. Now, 8th inning tied 7-7. Lenny Dykstra hits it to right center field, and the ball bounces over for a ground rule double. Ron Reynolds scores. Mets lead 8-7. And then Darryl Strawberry lifts a fly ball to short left field. Von Hayes comes in, says, "I've got it," and he doesn't. 2-run score. The Mets win it 10-7. Len Berman for NBC News.
Okay, going through the scoreboard now. Expos just running in place to keep winning, but they don't gain any ground. 7-3 the final over Chicago this afternoon. They take 3 of 4 in that series at Wrigley Field. The Mets over Philadelphia 10-7. Just saw the highlights of that one. In St. Louis, as we told you, taking 2 from Pittsburgh. 3-1 in the first game, 4-3 in the second game. So they are now tied atop the standings in the National League East. Flipping the page, 3 more scores to report on, all of which are finals afternoon contests. Houston over San Francisco 4-1. Both those teams are basically out of it in the National League West. Cincinnati over San Diego 5-4. As San Diego continues to have their problems, they now fall 9 back of Los Angeles, who beat Atlanta today 5-4. The final, that one, LA, as I said, 9-game lead now in the National League West. In the American League tonight, Detroit losing to Cleveland 7-6. The final score on this one, and MacIntyre is not smirking beside us here tonight as his beloved Tigers fall 11.5 back of the Jays in the American League East. Baltimore all over Texas, 9-1 the final score on that one tonight, but Baltimore is basically out of it. They are 13 out of first place now in the American League East. 2 more scores to report on. Minnesota over Seattle all over them. 14-5 was the final score in this one. And Chicago losing ground rapidly in the American League West as they now go 8.5 back of idle California. They lose to Milwaukee tonight, 7-5 the final score in that one. And in the Canadian Football League tonight, you may have seen this game live here on CKVR tonight. Ottawa over Saskatchewan 14-4 in the Battle of the Rough Riders as Ottawa tries to keep pace in the East. Saskatchewan falls off the pace a little bit in the CFL West. Well, during the summer, hockey camps spring up all over the place. But lately, another winter sport has had its share of camps. It's basketball, and this one is in Barrie.
This is the first time a basketball camp, primarily for elementary school students, has been held in Barrie. Greg Harvey, the head coach of the Innisdale Secondary School senior girls team, is running the program, and this week 45 girls aged 9 to 14 are taking part.
The camp is specifically designed for the younger set, kids that are not yet in high school and perhaps have had limited or maybe no basketball experience. We spend most of our time working on fundamental basic skills, dribbling, passing, shooting, defensive footwork. We then take the skills and try and incorporate them into a game situation. The kids get a couple of games every day, and we have activities that are fun-oriented, and basically we want the kids to have a great time and have a real positive introduction to the game of basketball.
There are a total of 12 instructors, mostly from Innisdale Secondary, and the other supervisor is Steve Kelman, also a teacher at the school. But despite the heavy Innisdale influence, the camp is not being used as a recruiting program for the school.
I'm not concerned about who's coming to my school and who isn't. I suppose it's nice to identify some kids that may have talent, but at this age, it's pretty hard to tell sometimes how far a kid can go. And I'm more interested in them enjoying themselves and developing their game.
The camp runs for 1 week every day from 9 a.m. until noon. The girls are finished tomorrow, and next week the boys take over. If you're interested or want more information, you can call 728-8737 and ask for Brig Harvey. In Barrie, George Bryson, Total News.
And that's sports. Thank you, Kevin. Remember, when you see news, give us a call in Barrie at 726-9714 or our toll-free number 1-800-461-5820. And it serves you right for supporting the Tigers.
Well, I'm going to the phone right now, and I'm calling Sparky, and his job's on the line as of right now.
Oh, he's shaking. Yeah, poor Spark.
Hey, nice day tomorrow. We'll go make some money and have some fun.
All right, thanks, Bob. That's it for now. Thanks for joining us. For Kevin and Bob, I'm Mike Jaworski. Good night.
Stay tuned to CKVR-TV for the next live Total News broadcast at 12:30.